Welcome everybody into my first departure to the dark world of the internet landscape. Today I'm here to talk about a character called Power from a soon-to-be well-known series called Chainsawman. It's a new Shonen Jump series filled with devils and demons galore, alongside with one of the funniest dark senses of humor you'll find anywhere in shonen manga. Before getting too far video, I'll of course do a little disclaimer here. This analysis will only cover up to the end of part 1 of the manga. So any future appearances will not be discussed. This covers the manga, so if by the time this comes out an anime is begun, please anime watchers, I would be cautious if you don't want to be spoiled. To start things off, I think it's best to give a bit of a description of the world of Chainsaw Man and just what happens. It's basically taking place in modern day Japan, so modern technology, modern problems for the most part. The only main difference between that world and ours is that devils and demons are commonplace creatures that can pop up anywhere and everywhere. It's just infested with them. They come in all shapes and sizes and can be based off anything. In the first chapter, for example, there is literally a tomato devil. And the weirdness doesn't stop there either, as there are far more sinister devils, such as the Darkness Devil that embodies all of darkness, the Time Devil that can see the future, multiple cursed devils who can curse people, snakes, zombies, demons, any creature. Anything the author imagines, including the titular Chainsaw Man, is a man possessed by the Chainsaw Devil. Now on to what the character we're here to talk about in depth is Power. The thing that makes her special is that she is a blood devil, meaning, as one could guess, she has power over blood, especially the blood in her body. She can control it, form it as a weapon. Basically, if you've seen Dead Man Wonderland, you could compare it to that. Now, after getting a little bit of the necessary exposition out of the way, I figured it is time to talk about who Power is as a character, the real meat of this video. Power is a fiend, a type of devil that possesses the corpse of a human. Hers is that of a petite teenage girl. Each devil has their own unique appearance, of course, especially fiends, as they are mostly human. But they're going to be, for the most part, toned down. The really only difference will usually be solely in their head. That is how they will look different from a regular human. For her, the only thing making her stand out from everyday humans are the pair of horns and the sharp teeth she has. Beyond that, she might as well be a basic human. We meet her fairly on in the story, start learning about the ins and outs of the devil hunting world, as the story's protagonist Denji is made Power's partner, or buddy as they love to use in the story. And she's found to be agreeable enough as a devil to be an asset in hunting, as opposed to just a public danger that needs to be put down. That's a basic premise. It's rather, they will use the power of devils to fight devils, but if they do not think a devil is useful, they will put it down like a rabid dog, leaving Power in a less than enviable position. As a character, Power starts out fairly simplistic. As I mentioned earlier, she is agreeable enough as a devil to be seen as an asset. That in no way means that she is exactly level-headed or calm and collected. She basically is just of average intelligence and knows not to mess with people too strong. Her initial personality is that of a self-centered child. She's prideful and always willing to pass blame onto others as an irresponsible kid would. At one point, even people literally saw her do something stupid, she'll outright lie like it's the easiest thing in the world. Despite all this, it'd be wrong to say that she's anything but a brilliantly written character, because she isn't brilliant herself, but insane. She's fun, and that comes in her appeal. Power's appeal comes from her simple-minded nature. As her name implies, strength means a lot to her, hence why she fears Makima. She doesn't want to be murdered, as most creatures prefer. She's like a wild animal. And going off a bit how she initially is, time to talk about how does she fight? What does it mean to be a blood devil? So I mentioned comparisons could be made to the Dead Man Wonderland series, but she is not really that much of an intellectual fighter or much for strategy, usually. She is simplistic, most time prefers to just steamroll her opponents. As the first kill we see from her is on a sea cucumber devil. She literally just forms the blood, has blood flow out of her arm. She makes a hammer, smack, she's a target, and then rails in it. There isn't much to say. She doesn't really plan things out because she sees no reason to in most cases. Most opponents she fights head on are fairly weak, so she just, as the name suggests, powers through. But and that goes with the obvious thing of whenever she feels like she's outgunned or outmatched, like an animal, she will be one of the first to leave if there's no reason to fight. And she has very little reason to. As I said, I was talking about her combat ability. She has more, though. Her ability itself is to control mostly her blood or anyone's blood. But don't worry, she's not so overpowered that she can just use the blood in someone else's body or anything so easily. On her own, she is quite weak, and the most she does in regards to another person is at one point she slows down the bleeding for another main character, Aki. Main reason she gave herself was that she lives with him and he does the cooking, as he is basically the babysitter for her and Denji because they're potential public dangers, and he is the most stick to the mud character you will find in this show, and even he's off his rocker. As I said, she will not have any power over others unless it is within direct contact, and there's only one point in the series after a short but impromptu power boost that she seems capable of affecting blood of others from a distance. And to one of the most important aspects of a devil, or at least a fiend in her case, is semi-mortality, as the manga will say it. What I mean, semi, is that she can be killed. It's kind of like if you can't bring her back by, in this world it's feeding demons blood, if you do that, they will recover post-haste, almost immediately. They'll regenerate almost from any wound. As I said, making characters like Power, who are fiends, semi-immortal. It's kind of like a thing like a video game character almost. As long as you can get them that potion, or in this case, I guess a blood bag, they will be just fine. They'll heal up as if nothing happened. One good example of this is her getting her neck snapped. After that, she was able to be recovered when someone poured blood into her mouth. Now to talk on basically the most important part of Power's character in relation to the story she's in. And honestly, that is comedic relief. Main purpose is to act as a comic relief, as she's often involved whenever something genuinely funny takes place in the story. Almost 9 out of 10 times, she will somehow be involved. When they were trapped by the Eternity Devil. She ate all her team's food when they were trapped, then immediately tried lying about it when everyone knew it was her. Or a great example, when hunters from all over the world were coming to kill Denji, she accidentally hit someone with a car on accident, passed the blame onto the passenger of poor Kobini, the straight woman, to the insanity going on, and believe it or not, she tried to stone-face blame Kobani for everything, pretending she did. Kobani, I am fully not sure, so either way I would pronounce it, that is how I pronounce it. Turns out the person she hit was a murderer in disguise, so she decided to take credit for it. As a good point that shows is Even the most experienced and brilliant minds can fail to predict insanity, or as well as stupidity. Power has both in spades, don't worry. Not to say she is comedic, she is rambunctious, she is childish, but she still has some morality to her. She has in-depth character, as I said. She isn't a brilliant character IQ-wise, but she is brilliantly written. She cares for a few people, and that's it. She likes her buddy Denji, after a while at least. She likes Aki, as he basically takes care of her, and she finds at least some form of kind feelings towards him. And of course, her cat. Her cat Meowie. Meowie being basically her first companion. But beyond that, she is a devil after all. She doesn't care. She has next to no loyalty to anyone, really. Minus those I before mentioned, she doesn't really have friends. Denji teaches her how people are and saves her after she betrays him on their first meeting, earning her respect and truly starting their interesting friendship as buddies. She's honestly a wild card, and that is why the fans love her. Heck, she's left for a good mini arc out of the story, and her mere comeback felt awesome. With, of course, her singing her name for who knows why. She's appeared. She is basically that. Like a cat, really. Fittingly enough, with that being her favorite animal. Comes to the vulnerability of her character. As I mentioned, she has few close ties. The one time she felt sympathy at all was towards Denji when she believed Meowie was dead. She looked towards him and said, "It does quite suck to have a pet die." She was referring to his devil, Puchita, who at the time she didn't understand was technically still alive, quite literally inside of Denji. But here comes the part that truly makes her grow. After one of the darkest arcs in the first part happens with the Darkness Devil being defeated, and the aftermath of the instant involving it. To getting curb stomped by the Darkness Devil like most of the very large cast. Power narrowly survived, but it's devastated. She's scared of something that scares many to this day in the real world. Darkness itself. Vulnerability of hers is shown here. She struggles with living every day as she constantly asks Denji or Aki to basically take care of her, look after her, more so than usual, just literally like, "Please look at me, please look. Is it not that the Darkness Devil isn't here?" She is terrified. Literally afraid of the darkness that is inside her own mouth. As I said, she's a simple creature, and being nearly murdered broke her. She's decimated. Denji looks after her on her own quest as she goes as far to ask him to bathe with her since she's scared. She finally opens up to Denji as they lay in bed together. Yes, she's a terrifying devil who loves mayhem and literally scared of the dark. That's the story you are reading. Welcome, Chainsawman. Power shows what would be called very human emotions here. She finally opens up to Denji, not as the stubborn child or the narcissist she has been before. Power starts to plead to Denji for him to please not hate her, since he didn't go on a trip with Makima solely to take after her, make sure she was okay. He wouldn't admit it, obviously, but again, she might be an idiot, but even she can pick up the obvious things. She even went as far as to make him drink her blood. Otherwise, in her mind, that was the only way to do anything for him to make sure that Denji wouldn't hate Power. That's the twisted way her world works. We see later that pay off, but it wasn't so much even of what many would think would be a romantic feeling. It was more of just desperation to feel close to someone. But don't worry. Her regular childish behavior returns soon after to Aki's frustration. Last thing she does for the final act of the arc is try to give Denji a birthday cake. Kind of showing how she's truly changed over it, grown closer to him, because, as I said, a lot of bad thing happened. bad things happened, and now she just wants to celebrate his birthday with him. Try and make him feel better because, I said, at this point, they truly are buddies. And then the true tragedy of her character happens. Fujimoto, the author, has Makima destroy her. Because we can't have nice psychotic things. Surprisingly enough, her apparent death is not exactly the end of her story, at least not for part 1. You see, there's still the final arc. Spoil ahead if for some reason this part you don't want to have the ending spoiled, because it is quite good. And that's regards talking about the growth. Through the series, she mostly remains the same, except slowly getting kinder towards Denji and Aki. Cohabitation will do that to you. Even worst enemies you'll learn to tolerate, usually. In her final appearance, really. As I mentioned earlier, she had Denji suck her blood. Like, bite into her and literally suck her blood. To her, that was the only sensible way for him to not hate her. That meant that her blood was in him. And so she is able to reappear from that, as her essence is able to absorb a bit of the Chainsaw Devils, who is basically the most powerful one, at least in the human world. If not at least one of the contenders, she bulks up and becomes more powerful. I talk most about her growth, though, is in her final fight with Makima. She truly shines. She eats part of the Chainsaw Devil's own power. She's grown top tier, and I said earlier, that's the power boost that makes her strong enough to use the blood of others from a distance. She's a way more monstrous creature now, and is pumped. She claims that she's the president, that she laughs while making Makima's own blood attack her and seemingly kill her, but too bad the wicked bitch comes back. After things go south, Makima offers Power the chance to live if she gives up Denji, which of course she initially agreed to, and my favorite pages of the entire manga, even the dang dog, inside Denji is shocked at it. And it's bad to disappoint Puchita, because he's a damn good boy. The growth happens really there at her end, when she's about to hand over Denji, but doesn't. She doesn't know why, but she just can't let Denji die. An emotional flashback while being chased by a practical army of devils and devil hunters that Makima controls. She finds herself in a desperate struggle for survival, and it's quite amazingly drawn and it's suspenseful. She contemplates how until meeting Meowie, no life mattered, not even her own, but she couldn't let Denji die. She had to save her buddy. It was a heartwarming bit of dialogue as she escapes to a dumpster and saves Denji's life. Her final scene takes place in, I guess you could say, Denji's inner mind, as Power is ironically out of power and fading. Her only essence was in Denji to begin with as the little bit of blood, as she is a blood devil, so blood is technically her. She faded away, leaving him with a mission to find the blood devil after it's reborn in hell, and then dies again and comes back to Earth and try and turn it into the power that he knows to become their friend. Honestly, Power's farewell here is one of the best moments in recent manga for me. She is a devil who enjoys drinking blood and bathing in the blood of her enemies, but she is also a simple girl who will wear fake tits to feel better, a prideful, selfish, and compulsive liar. She is also a friend, as Makima put it, like a sister to Denji. She has fears and gets needy when she feels powerless. All of these things make her what she is, along with the good in that. There is no light without darkness, and no darkness without at least a little bit of light. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you enjoy the rest of my analysis videos that come up the pipeline. Thank you very much. Have a good one.